Scientifically speaking, we're sharing the view. From labs to clinics, breakthrough shining through. With minds that inspire and stories to unfold. Scientifically speaking, the future's being told.
Welcome back to Scientifically Speaking with Christine on Oz Arab Media, where we explore the science behind everyday breakthroughs, from health to tech and everything in between. Before we start, I'd like to mention that my hair today was done by Laurent. Well, today's episode brings together two worlds you don't often hear in the same sentence, law and AI. Joining us is Mona Chiha, a pioneer in legal innovation. After completing her MBA in technology at UTS and launching and selling a successful legal fund, Mona went on to found JurisTechne, begin her PhD candidacy at UTS in algorithmic law, as well as her candidacy at UNSW as a Juris Doctor. In JurisTechne, she's pioneering ethical and explainable AI for legal research and data analytics. So, let's explore. Can algorithms really understand the law? What happens when machines interpret legal risk? And how do we make sure AI remains ethical and accountable? Mona, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm actually really excited to be here.
Of course, so are we to have you, and such an amazing topic to talk about today. So how about we dig in?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Mona, let's start with what exactly is algorithmic law and how does it go beyond the conventional legal analytics or decision support tools?
Okay, so first what I'll do is I'll define what algorithmic law is.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that I'm doing a PhD in algorithmic law at UTS. Now, algorithmic law is a convergence of data science, of ethics, of credible legal data sources, and most importantly, human oversight. So there's 4 pillars of algorithmic law that work really well together. Now, for the second part of the question, like, what's the whole point? Like, what does algorithmic law mean? Like, what does it do? What it does is it supports the legal professional look at these vast amounts of legal data sets and extract data analytics. So clean data analytics, like we do in finance, like we do in medicine. So it's the application of the data science in law for the purpose of legal research.
Right, that is amazing. Well, and saving a lot of time, I'm sure we'll talk about that later. How did your background in technology, Mona, and finance and legal funding really lead to you to this niche intersection?
Okay, so I'll probably take it a bit further back.
Yeah.
So I started off my career as a finance broker.
Okay.
20 years ago.
Oh, just a couple of years.
Just
don't say that.
Couple years.
Yes.
And during that period, we didn't have online applications or uploading your documents. Everything was done through the fax and through snail mail and writing it down.
Wow.
So that frustrated me. I looked at, okay, how can I use technology to help me with this? So I built a website. And the website would take someone's application, they'd upload their documents. It really streamlined my process. And then as I progressed them through the application process, they would get an email notification. Nice. 20 years ago, that was epic.
I know.
Now, it's the bare minimum.
That's the basic of what a website can do.
Right.
Yeah.
So I learned and fell in love with technology.
Nice.
I ended up going to TAFE and learning how to program. I did.
That's before the many PhDs just do it.
Yes. I learned how to program. I did advertising and marketing.
Yes.
I did, before that, I had completed my financial services certification. And then moved from the brokerage into technology. So I started a very small digital agency, which grew to, I think there was 14 of us
Wow.
by the time I had moved on to my next venture.
Wow.
And that exposed me to a lot of different businesses and to how they could adopt technology to streamline and automate and improve their processes. Again, this is all before generative AI.
Nice.
So we were doing things, you know, in a traditional way.
Yes. Or what was really trending at the time, if we can say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During that period, I was given an opportunity to do a credit lending business.
Okay.
So an online credit lending business. I architected the solution. I built in the regulation and the compliance into the architecture of our software solution.
Wow.
And then saw how data and analytics could empower us to make better strategic data-driven decisions.
Nice.
Now, when I moved on from that business into litigation funding, I saw that there wasn't any technology that could help me assess the cases. And it wasn't just me as a litigation funder, it was also my legal team and the law firms that I was funding, which also flows down through to the claimants, the people who need access to justice. I went searching all over the world, everywhere. I went to London 3 times.
Wow.
I went to Dubai. I stopped off in Singapore. I didn't really look at many of the tools in the US jurisdictions.
Searching for answers.
That's
Searching
right.
for technological answers.
To
Wow.
find a solution that I could use to help me assess the cases.
Wow.
So when I couldn't find them, I thought, well, why not me?
Start it all over from the beginning.
So I sold my portion of the fund and then started developing JurisTechne in line with my MBA.
Wow. That's amazing. What a success story. So, speaking of JurisTechne, can you walk us through what actually JurisTechne does?
Okay, I'm going to fully nerd out.
Okay, take your time. We're going into a law meditation here. Tell us.
Okay, so I'm going to compare it to the finance industry.
Okay.
Because if I use the finance industry as a comparison, I think it makes it a lot easier to understand.
Okay.
Now, when you go to your bank and you're making an application for a loan, what does the bank look at? The bank looks at your income. The bank looks at your expenses. They look at your credit report.
Yeah.
They look at your ID. Like there are all of these different data points that we extract to build out a risk matrix. So is the income more than the expenses? What are the expenses being spent on? Is it being spent on a high risk merchant spend like gambling or at bars or tobacco? We start to build a behavioral and a psychological profile on a person based on that data. And it's a lot easier to base it on numbers because numbers are a lot easier to build out that risk matrix for. So that's in finance.
True.
Now, in the law, when we're looking at all of these features, so see all of these data points, they're called features. And how we connect the data points, that's the relationships. In law, when we're trying to extract all the features and the relationships, it's much harder to do.
True.
It's never been done before. We're actually the first, not just academically in the research, but industry-wise as well. We're the first ones in the world to clean up the data in a way that we can navigate it.
Nice.
Why that's important is when you have a legal research question as a lawyer, what we're doing is we're manually reading through hundreds, if not thousands of case law and of legislation. And we're doing all of that pattern recognition manually.
Wow.
All I've done, I haven't revolutionized anything. All we've done is build out a way that we can navigate the information so that we can pick out these data analytics to help the person build out a legal strategy. It doesn't make decisions. If you come across a legal tool that is a decision-making tool, run away because the decision should always be in the human's
Human.
hands, not in an algorithm.
Not even a suggestion or a second opinion?
No.
No.
No, it's unethical.
Okay. So maybe here where people are really confused between using AI in legal matters or not, rest assured we can say that all decisions are coming from a human.
They should be.
Yeah.
And that's the recommendation
Right.
as well from the Supreme Court, the New South Wales Supreme Court, and Justice Bell's practice note on generative AI.
Okay.
There's AI is a general term
Yes.
for different AI technologies. The one that everybody is knowing and using is called generative AI.
Right. Like
That-
ChatGPT and these. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So like your ChatGPT, like your Claude, like your
Yeah.
Gemini,
Wow.
like your Super Grok.
Yeah.
That's generative AI. This
yeah.
is called a black box model.
Yes.
The reason why it's called a black box model is we don't know what's in here. We don't know what data has been used. We don't know whether it's gone through a credibility or ethical layer. We know that they actually haven't. We know that these black boxes perpetuate algorithmic bias, which is quite dangerous.
Yes, we will talk about that definitely. Yeah.
Whereas the technology that I deal in, which is called explainable AI, so that's capital X AI,
Okay.
is a series of systems of decision trees where we're able to map out where the information came from.
Okay.
So remember how I mentioned that
So
credible?
do you feed it information?
Yes.
You feed it information. It doesn't.
We're not feeding information. We've created a model from scratch.
Okay.
So see this one? This one is you're feeding it information.
Okay.
My one is we've created the information.
Okay.
So we've developed an AI model, an XAI model,
Oh wow.
like from nothing.
From nothing. Wow.
It's the first one in the world.
Amazing. I'm so proud of you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Look, you did mention legal research does take a lot of time and it is overwhelming. So how does JurisTechne use data analytics to help people find relevant laws, cases, and patterns faster with that from scratch created something?
Okay. So the manual way of navigating the information is you'll use a traditional legal research tool.
Right.
So some of the traditional ones are LexisNexis or Thomson Reuters Westlaw. These are the traditional legal research tools, as well as
Right.
like Ostley or Jade. You would go in and put in a Boolean search term. So it's a very specific way of looking and mapping out what you're trying to find.
Right.
And then you're dealt with tens of thousands of pieces of information.
Right.
And you have to read every single one of them manually, like sit there and read. And some of these judgments are 50, 60, 70, 100 pages long.
Wow.
You could see how time consuming that is.
It is.
If you run that through a generative AI model, it's going to miss something that could make or break your case.
Okay.
That could be the reason why someone loses access to their children.
Yes.
So this is why I try to steer people
Critical.
away from generative AI. So the manual way, which is the traditional way, is reading through all the information and you as a person picking and choosing what features are important for your case.
Yeah.
That's the traditional way of
Yeah.
doing it. I haven't deviated from that traditional way. All I've done is supported and empowered it through ethical and responsible technology.
Okay, so they'll do the reading for you and bring you the important information that you asked for.
So
Did I-
close, yeah.
Yeah.
So my system has broken down the information
Okay.
in a way where when you put the information for the case or the matter or
Yes.
the legal research question, it's able to match the two.
Okay.
It's able to match it on similarity, on relevancy, and then add different weights to it.
Lovely. Amazing. Wow. Where did the world of technology take us? What are the practical benefits, Mona, of explainable AI in legal context compared to the traditional ones where it has risk models, right? Or even using the generative AI like with ChatGPT and Gemini and all those from your perspective?
Okay. So when you go to court and you're submitting evidence,
Okay.
or you're citing a legislation, or you're citing some case law, like someone else's judgment. You have to make sure that that information is credible, it's reliable, it's not something that's been made up.
True.
You also have to have transparency and traceability. So you need to know where the information came from and how you put the information together to present it to the court.
Right.
That's like the foundation of legal research.
Yeah.
In explainable AI, you could do that because we know where all the information came from.
Yeah.
They came from credible legal data sources directly from government, directly from case law, directly from legislation, directly from government policy procedures, regulatory guides. Whereas if you're using the black box model, so this model is called the glass box model.
Yes.
You can see through it.
Transparent.
Exactly.
Literally, yeah.
Transparency and traceability.
Yeah.
The black box model, it is impossible, like technically impossible.
To know where the information is coming from.
That's right, because it's based on a neural network. There's no traceability in a neural network. That's technologically impossible.
Right.
So we need things that are explainable and traceable and transparent to use for legal research.
Amazing. You also say it in a way that makes me feel, I can be a lawyer. It's very simplified, and I thank you for that, so that all our audience can actually know what we're talking about today. So are legal professionals generally open to adopting these AI tools, Mona, or do we still have resistance?
So there is resistance, and rightfully so.
Okay.
Because the only type of AI that our legal champions have been exposed to is that generative AI model, that black box model. So through my PhD, we conducted a case study with 29 different law firms. They were law firms that ranged from international law firms to your solopreneurs, so like your
Right.
mum and dad firms.
Yeah.
Everybody was very open to trial and test, and we're very pleasantly surprised with the results from explainable AI.
Nice.
So it's very important that when we're speaking to our legal champions, so I'm working with barristers, I'm working with judges, I'm working with the solicitors, I'm working with paralegals, I'm working with law students, I'm teaching law students and engineering students about that algorithmic legal framework. It's there to support and empower the industry, not bring it down.
Amazing. And when it comes to AI in law, where do you draw the line really between human judgment and the machine recommendations?
This is such an important thing that we have to discuss.
Yes.
You absolutely cannot
Yes.
leave judgment to an algorithm
Yes.
or a piece of technology.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the human is responsible for making a decision. We could empower ourselves to make a decision using clean data so that we're making strategic data-driven decisions,
Okay.
like we do in finance, like we do in medicine. We're not looking at pretend information, we're looking at real information.
Yeah.
It's the same in law.
Nice.
So we need the right information, the right data points, so we can say, you know what, I've got the risk appetite to pursue this case, or maybe we don't. But that's up to the person. Every lawyer, every law firm
Yes.
has their own level of risk in
Right.
pursuing a case, in doing the legal work. That always has to be left to the person. That's the ethical thing to do.
Yes, definitely. What safeguards then, or ethical frameworks, are you building into your models to ensure this fairness?
Okay. So, remember how I kept talking about the black box
Yes.
and the glass box?
Yes.
The fact that we've developed our own glass box
Yeah.
is one layer of ethics.
Okay.
Before that is, where did the information come from? Are you infringing on someone's IP or their copyright or their trademark? Like
Black
model?
box.
Glass box model doesn't. Our model doesn't. It's called the Algorithmic Legal Framework. We've also built it in accordance to the New South Wales AI Assurance Framework, which was spearheaded by Dr. Ian Opperman. And we've also built in accordance to the Australian AI voluntary standards. Right now, only government has to adhere to those standards and frameworks.
Right. Amazing. That's a lot of information to take in for myself as well. But it's good to know that there is something reliable out there, if I'm making sense. How do you handle the potential biases, Mona, in the data, especially considering how legal systems have historically, disadvantaged certain groups? So what can you do?
If there is bias and what we do is display the data, it's up to the human how to look at that data and empower themselves. Now, if there is bias in a judgment and we haven't measured a significant amount of bias, judges are doing a pretty good job being unbiased in the judgments, which is what we have access to, which is that publicly available information.
Right.
If there is bias, we want to display that information to the lawyers, to the legal representation, the legal champions, to be able to pursue an appeal, to be able to, change their strategy. Like there's bias where it's wrong, and there's bias where it's you've got to give this information to the right people to champion the justice.
Right.
And in this case, it's our legal professionals, whether it's the judges, the barristers, or the lawyers.
Right.
Because we're not making any determinations. All we're doing is displaying different data points. And then we give that data points to the person who is the number one expert at building that legal strategy. We don't want to take that away from them.
Sure. You've come a long way as lawyers and law and this industry, if I can say, in transforming this industry. So how do you see AI really transforming more courtrooms, the contracts or the client services, let me say, in the next 5 to 10 years?
Okay. How I see AI, and specifically explainable AI being adopted into the legal system is the way that we're developing it.
Okay.
It has to be explainable. It has to be traceable and transparent, but it needs to be built on a foundation of education.
Yes.
So we've created an algorithmic legal foundation class,
Okay.
which teaches people like that foundational knowledge on how to think like an algorithmic lawyer.
Oh, wow.
So it's a course that we're doing out of UTS startups, where people come, we spend a day with them, like a cohort, and we teach them about the algorithmic legal framework.
Nice.
That's the education piece.
Okay.
Then we've got the tools that enable the practice of algorithmic law. So that's your tools like JurisTechne. Now, that type of technology uplifts and empowers a person. Those legal champions that are on average spending 18 hours a day doing that legal research, doing that advocation, doing the mediation. Like, you don't go to a lawyer majority of the time because things are great and dandy.
Yeah, true.
Like, they're dealing with a lot of high stress applications and cases.
Yes.
And we need to think about them too. They're people too.
I know, right?
Lawyers are people too.
They need the rest, but they're still reading our cases 18 to 20 hours, and we want to help them through that.
But we want to help them with the right tools.
Yes.
With the ethical and responsible tools that they could rely on trust. Now, I'll give you a different example.
Yeah, sure.
When you're driving in your car and you've got your Google Maps on,
Right.
or your Apple Maps,
True.
and you're following the maps, do you also have your directory book open to make sure that it's giving you the right directions?
No one ever uses that anymore.
Right?
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound ridiculous?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
This is what's happening with generative AI.
Oh.
With generative AI, all the onus is being put on the user to verify that the information is right and accurate and true. That doesn't make sense. If you're using something that somebody has manufactured or put together, it needs to be fit for purpose and be used for the right use cases.
And it's updated, not outdated. Yeah.
Transparent and traceable.
Yeah.
So where I see it going is I see the industry honestly getting sick and tired of tools that they can't use, on tools that they're getting in trouble for, that they're being reprimanded for, and moving towards real data science in explainable AI that empowers the industry, not pushes it down. That's where I see it going.
Amazing. Can't wait, because it sounds less hardships for those champions,
That's
if I can
right.
say. Yeah, amazing. Do you believe, Mona, that algorithmic law can improve access to justice, especially for those that have underserved communities?
100%.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. There are hundreds and thousands of cases sitting in the backlog. Now, because of the manual way that things are done, it takes a lot of time.
Right.
A lot of manual processes. It's very resource intensive, time consuming, right? If we're able to empower the person to make faster, more strategic, data driven decisions, we're getting through this backlog quite quickly.
Nice.
So one of the examples was we produced a report for one of our case study participants. Now, we timed it. How long will it take your best paralegal to come up with the answer for this legal research question? And he said 3.5 hours for my best one.
Okay.
That's phenomenal. It took our system for us to not just take out the information. So we developed the algorithm from scratch based on their requirement. 1/2 hour.
Wow.
Now to run that algorithm only takes seconds. So from 3.5 hours to seconds, how many more people do you think are going to get access to justice?
Wow. That is amazing. Well, we're looking forward to that to be in each and every lawsuit, hopefully, not only at JurisTechne or people surrounding Mona only.
Thank you.
No worries. Mona, before we end our my show, I usually like to do some myth busting. So it's a little bit fun way, kind
like
of, you know,
this.
to just do something, maybe let people know more about what we're doing in a fun way, whether true or false, or maybe a little why. So I'll be giving you some law and AI related statements, and tell me, is it true, false, and a little why. Are we ready?
Okay, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's do it. First one, AI will completely replace lawyers in the future. What's your take on that?
Never.
Never.
Ever. Never, ever will AI take over the human decision making.
Yes.
AI can't advocate. A person does that. AI can't mediate. A person does that. Like that, you don't go to AI in those dire circumstances. You go to a person.
The human touch is still needed.
Of course it
Will
is.
always be. Amazing. Second one. Algorithms are always unbiased because they're based on data, not opinion.
So there's two different ways that you can take this.
Okay.
So the answer for this is false
Okay.
and true. So the algorithms are built on top of the data sources, right? You could see that there is a level of bias in case law that you're able to measure with. How you use that bias, using it for good, using it for legal strategy, using it for advocation, doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. The fact that it happened in the first place is the bad thing, not that the actual data has
Yeah.
the bias throughout.
Amazing. Interesting. The third one, legal decisions made by AI are more accurate than the ones made by humans.
False.
Okay,
False,
how come?
False. Now, there are certain nuances in law when we're making a legal decision. Whether you're making that decision as a solicitor to pursue a case, whether you're making a legal decision as a judge
Okay.
to determine the outcomes of a case. You can't base decisions today on something that's happened in the past. You use it to maybe apply certain parts of that decision, but the human at the end of the day looks at many different data points that a human can look at that a machine or an algorithm just can't do and shouldn't do because it's not right. We need to keep factoring what's happening in today's society.
Okay.
So, no, it isn't more accurate. It isn't better. The human is the best person at the end of the day. The human that has the best data is the best person to do it at the end of the day.
Amazing. That gives us hope that AI is not taking all our jobs.
No, not
that's
at
what
all.
people usually are fearing of. Using AI in law increases the risk of breaching the client confidentiality.
That answer is yes, if you're using somebody
black
else's black box model
Yes.
and it's still sitting connected to the main model. So some ways that people are trying to safeguard is by hosting their own version of the generative AI model.
Okay.
That's one way some people are doing it, but you're still with a black box worth of data and information.
Okay.
So my personal recommendation is why use a black box when you could use a glass box that's segregated from the internet, that doesn't impose on anybody's IP or copyright,
Breach information.
that's been built ethically.
Interesting. Our last one for today, Mona. Only big law firms
That's it.
with massive
Affordability.
budgets can afford to implement illegal AI tools.
No,
No.
that is completely false. If you're using generative AI and
Yeah.
there's that tokenization pricing model that you have to consider, it does get quite expensive.
Okay.
If you're using something that has been developed from scratch where we control the price point, we've actually made it quite affordable. So people from the one-person law firm
Yeah.
can access and be able to afford an explainable AI model, the same as a large law firm that has a data room of paralegals and legal researchers. We're leveling that playing field.
Amazing. Mona, do you believe that we have come to an end to this amazing conversation? I am a little bit sad because that was very informative. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Your insights really into the ethical AI and the future of law were both really eye-opening and highly inspiring. So I thank you once again.
Thank you for having me here. Thanks for letting me talk about, algorithmic law
Of course.
and explainable AI. If we don't have these platforms
Yes.
to be able to talk about, this new research and this new information, how are people supposed to know about it? So I thank you for
course.
giving people the opportunity to learn about algorithmic law.
Amazing. Thank you once again, Mona. And before we go, I always love to say something to our listeners. As technology continues to evolve, it's important we stay curious, informed, and proactive about how these changes affect our daily lives, our rights, and our future. This was Christine from Scientifically Speaking on Oz Arab Media. Until next time.